Were there any attempts to sort of change the way the PEP engaged with different interest groups, and what was the outcome of that?
The PEP is a broad church, so there's always a lot of debate within. So I'm part of that debate. I'm often a minority voice, but there are others who share my views too. This internal debate has to continue.
Yvonne from Wan Pao. In your speech, you mentioned that you indicated that you will not be running for the next election. Is this official? Does it mean officially you're exiting from politics? And also back to the counting of the votes that night. When did you first know that all is lost, and what were the thoughts that went through your mind at that time? And now that you are no longer an MP, what are you most concerned about? Would it be still about the welfare of the residents of Aljunied or your future career path?
Wait, ask three. What's the first question again?
Whether this is this officially your exit from politics?
Let's take it one at a time. Last night I met the key members of my branch, and I told them that I don't see myself standing for election next time round. And I thought it's better for a younger person to take charge. A few were disappointed, but many understood. So that's the position. Am I retiring from politics? My own view is it is the responsibility of every citizen to be involved in politics, because politics is about the way our lives are run collectively. So I don't think I'll ever retire from politics, because I'm a citizen of Singapore, and I've got beliefs, I've got views, and if I can make contributions, I should. The third question?
The second question was, when did you know that all was lost for your team, and what were the first thoughts that went through your mind?
We were aware from the outset, even before nomination day, that it would be a very tough at Aljunied. So mentally we were prepared throughout the campaign period that we could lose. So that night, when the boxes were open and the counting began, I saw certain trends. I made a few phone calls. Also, the candidates were all on WhatsApp together, so we kept each other informed simultaneously. So it's quite clear after half an hour that the trends were adverse. So I told them that, look, we've got to be mentally prepared and alert our grassroots and families so that they too knew what was the likely outcome. So I would say half an hour after counting began, we had a pretty clear sense of the trends.
My third question is, now that you're no longer an MP, what's the thing that you're most concerned about? Would it still be the welfare of Aljunied residents or your future career path?
Life is exciting. And there's so many things to do, so many things to be interested in, so many people to meet and care for, and who will care for you. The problem is always time. We each only have 24 hours a day, and if we have good health, then we do what we can. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to my new phase.
So that's good from the newspaper.
Yes.
What are the options you are considering at this point, and who are the likely candidates, who might take over your portfolio?
Oh, I think you should ask Prime Minister. I'm not in a position to answer those questions.
How about what are your options you are considering at this time?
For myself?
Yeah.
Professionally, my wife and I have decided that we should not rush to a decision. Let's take our time to reflect, and don't be rash in making the next move. In fact, we're quite excited about what we should do next. Yes, please.
Minister Tan Shi from my paper.
Yes.
Actually, after the results was out,
yes,
the Workers' Party expressed that they would like to use the current town council of Aljunied. So, will you agree with that? Like, would they be taking over the town council?
We will ensure a smooth handover. That's our responsibility to the people of Aljunied. GRC, and we hope the Workers' Party will look after their welfare and their interests.
So does it mean that they will be using the current Town Council of Aljunied?
No, that's for them to decide. I mean, you have to be new contracts, and both sides must agree on the terms. What, Wei Chang?
Wei Chang from Xingming. Just wondering, do you know of any online petitions that people are asking newly elected MPs to resign and perhaps get you to replace the particular candidate?
There are many campaigns going on online. I understand the emotions and don't make light of them. But that suggestion is not the way politics is structured in Singapore. Each constituency is a separate race.
Minister? Hi.
Yes, sorry.
You said that you were a minority voice in wanting to effect reform within the party. Do you think it's now become a majority voice? That's one question. Secondly, you said that you want to ensure a smooth handover in Aljunied GRC. What are the mechanisms in place for that? And what will it take for the PAP to win back Aljunied GRC 5 years on? And third question,
Can we take one question at a time? No, I won't say that I'm always a minority voice. Sometimes I'm part of a majority voice. So there are issues where I'm in a minority, and there are issues where a majority supported me. It's an ongoing debate. And I must say, PM keeps an open mind. We know what happened in the IR. We talked about it earlier. Even PM's apology at Boat Quay, he came down to Kaki Bukit, and after the walkabout, we sat down for coffee and we were reviewing the progress of the campaign so far. So I told him that there was deep resentment which had to be acknowledged, not just cursorily, but in detail. And it was not just a question about policies. It was not just the minds we were addressing. We had to address the hearts too. He listened very hard, he paused, and he later he told me that it was because of that conversation that he took that position at Boat Quay. So I'm a voice, sometimes it's in a minority, sometimes it's part of a majority. That's your first or second question on both? First, okay.
The second question was about Aljunied GRC. What are the mechanisms in place to ensure a smooth handover to the new team? And in your opinion, what does it take for the PAP to win back Aljunied GRC 5 years on?
The structures we keep intact. And I told my supporters last time, my party supporters, that we keep close to one another. In any case, even if I completely retire from politics, these are bonds of friendship which are lifelong. And I told them that we must look after our own people. Then as for the new administration, well, if they work for the people of Aljunied, we will support them. But if we feel that the people of Aljunied are not well served, then I think we should voice our views. That's what I told them. But otherwise, the structure will remain intact, and we must work to winning back Aljunied in the next election. And it depends a lot on the national mood. This time round, there was a 10% swing, which was largely because of this resentment against government. As Mr. Lautakan himself said, it's not because the Aljunied team had not done a good job. So we continue to be earnest, to be humble, to feel for the people living there, and I believe we'll be able to win them over again. But a lot will depend on the national mood at the next election. And that would in turn depend a lot on what the PAP does to transform itself.
One K from Straits Times. Some of the residents may be a little bit worried now about the upgrading plans in their constituency. So what will happen to the Aljunied 10 programs, and do you have some words of reassurance for the residents?
Existing programs which are already decided on will continue. As for the future, that's for the Workers' Party to take charge.
Hi, I'm Ichi from Safra Radio. There's this conspiracy theory online that you are placed in Aljunied GRC because you are too outstanding, so that in a way you can be sort of like wiped out. Yeah, so we'd like to put a rest to this theory. And secondly, can you give us a clue as to whether you go to public sector or the private sector?
Someone sent me that conspiracy theory, which I thought was rather funny, and yes, put it to rest where it should be. As to whether I look to the public or private sector in the future, we're keeping all options open. I say we because it's a decision which my wife and I will have to take jointly together, in consultation with our children.